Here, I've provided you with an actual screenshot of what you should see when you log into your Course site. And now I'm not going to take you through every single minute step of the Course site, but I do want to highlight some specific areas on your Course site that I want to make sure that you are giving attention to and that you're taking advantage of throughout our time together. So on the left-hand side here of your Course site, you see the announcements area. So this is basically little tidbits of information that I'll provide for you every couple of days or so that might be a helpful hint regarding your public speaking that you might want to be mindful of. I might put a reminder about some of the assignments that are due that particular week, though that won't be something that I will do consistently throughout the semester. You'll be responsible for that. But during this first week, I just wanted to make sure you had a good understanding of what my expectations were as far as assignments that were going to be completed. Something else that I might also include are specific links to different areas, so you don't have to necessarily search through any particular tab or place on the Course site for them. If I make reference to something, if I say you might want to refer to your student user guide, then if you see a link here, that's a direct link to that specific area. But more times than not, it's either a link to a specific assignment, which you can always find in the assignments area, and there will eventually be an assignments tab here, and then also a course, or you may find that under your course materials area. And let me take the opportunity to actually switch over into student mode, because you can see a assignment center on my view, but this is actually what you will see from a student's perspective. So then on the right-hand side of your Course site, you kind of get a rundown of the assignments that are going to be due within the next 7 days of when you are currently logged on to your class. And so oftentimes there are actual assignment links that you'll have here where, for example, there's an icebreaker video that's due on May 9th, or there's a self-assessment, which is a part of your module that you'll be completing within this week, a syllabus quiz, and so on and so forth. And those are actual action items that you have to take in order to complete those items. But your readings, chapter 1, chapter 2, there is no specific assignment or action that you need to do besides just read those. And I'll just trust that you've read those chapters, because basically they prepare you toward taking your quizzes or taking your self-assessments. And so those are kind of the check-in points to make sure that you're keeping up with your reading throughout the semester. And those are the primary focus areas that you want to make sure you're taking a look at. Of course, most will want to check in on their grades periodically, which I certainly encourage you to do, which you can find by clicking on the grades link. Now, if I can take your attention up toward the upper portion of your Course site, I want to bring your attention to the important note that will come up each and every time you find yourself at your home page, which is basically a reminder to always make sure you're using the Firefox browser. If you do not, and this is in particular for any Mac users, because your browser often reverts back to Chrome or Safari, you want to always make sure you're logged into Firefox. Otherwise, your ability to upload or download files could be compromised. If you have any technical issues along the way, always feel free to call tech support, and they really have hours that last late into the evening. So if you find yourself working late into the evening, I believe on at the least all weeknights, they're open until 3 a.m. So feel free to take advantage of them if you ever need any assistance. Okay, so we're going to close that out. And we see here that we have 6 tabs that are currently available, and you'll eventually have a 7th tab that becomes available that will be labeled as assignments. And if you start, you're already on your home tab, but if you click on your video tab, this is where you will visit whenever you have to upload a speech. And you'll begin doing that by uploading your icebreaker video. That's the first time that you'll visit this area. So you'll click on the title of that particular assignment. And I see a list of everyone. You may just see a list of yourself. But what you're going to do is, first of all, read these guidelines. Sometimes it will refer you to a specific place in your course materials section to make sure that you download the guidelines and examples and things like that that I've posted here for you in this section. But once you've actually put your video all together and you're ready to go through the actual upload process, you're just going to click the Add Video button that's next to your name. And once this page completely loads, you're going to click on the third tab, which is called the Embed a Web Clip tab. Copy the URL from your YouTube video that you created, paste it here, and then click Embed. And then just leave it alone so that it can upload for a few minutes. If it takes exorbitant amount of time to upload, then you can contact tech support and kind of ask them, are there any problems going on with the system or anything like that. But allow at least 10 to 15 minutes, and sometimes it can take even longer once we get upwards into the 5 to 7 minute speeches that you'll be giving toward the end of the semester. Once you do that, what you're going to do also is make sure you provide a comment on at least one of your classmates' speeches. So you can click right on the timestamp of that particular student. And I'm going to use one student as an example. We're not going to play their speech, but you're going to click the play button, play their speech. You can always take it to full screen if you need to see full screen, or turn up the volume. And you're going to add a comment. So you click on the comment button, and it's going to provide you with a clear space for you to make a comment. So you can type in your comment and then click Add Comment, okay? And that automatically adds your comment. Let me close that out. And then that completes your expectations for any video assignments. If you click on the next tab, the modules, I have all of the modules for the rest of the semester uploaded for you. So while I strongly recommend that you always make sure that you're accompanying doing your modules with doing the readings, because that's what's really preparing you for those, I don't mind at all if you work ahead on completing those. And so as we're waiting on the modules tab to load, there will always be at least 5 sections that are available for completion for each one of your modules. And we'll use the topic development module as an example. You have the topic summary, engagement, self-assessment, action step, and wrap up. You are always expected at minimum to complete your topic summary, one of the engagement activities within the engagement section, and your self-assessment. The action step is a step that typically prepares you for the next speech that's going to be due, and I see that process as more of an ongoing process for each one of you. So I don't expect that necessarily to be turned in on the same date that your self-assessment is going to be turned in. I don't expect you to have that portion done, and you don't have to turn in anything related to this. This is just a good resource that's available here where they give you different types of suggestions. So for example, under the delivery module, they recommend as an action step that you record your speech for the first time and watch the video back, and kind of give yourself some feedback on some of the delivery tendencies that you have. So you might be fidgeting, or you might move your hands in a certain way that could be distracting to the audience, and that action step kind of coaches you through that process. Okay, so if we start from the top, if you click on the topic summary, that gives you, the names are pretty self-explanatory. It gives you a very short synopsis of a focal point of your reading that you want to make sure that you are well aware of, because it is typically relevant to public speaking. So out of the 20-25 pages that you had to read, they're going to focus in on some of the ways that you can brainstorm and find a great topic. that's considerate of what both you and your audience could possibly be interested in. If you click on your engagement section, it gives you two options here. I recommend that you click on both, read them, and select the one that you feel like is the most relevant or interesting for you. Read the directions, complete the engagement activity. In this particular case, they ask you to start a thread and make a statement or answer a set of questions in the discussion forum. And so you know that you've completed that part once you've made a contribution to that discussion forum. And then the self-assessment, if you click begin a self-assessment is what it will say for you. And in this particular case, there are 5 different questions that you'll be answering. You are allowed to come back to this section and it will and give your retake these self-assessments, because the point of it is for you to make sure that you're learning and having a good understanding of each one of these areas. So the system will keep your highest score. So you can come back and take this 2-3 times if you want to make sure that you're committing all of these answers to these questions to memory, and more importantly, understanding the concepts and ideas behind the questions. We discussed the action step, and then in the wrap-up section is basically just making sure it's a combination of all the things that were talked about in the module that you just read through. So the module should not take you that long. So if you